Hey guys, what's going on? In today's video, we're going to be talking about this PC flip right here that we're going to have featured on the channel. And I wanted to talk about the main star right here in this video, and that is the HP ProDesk G4 small form factor. And this right here kind of brings back memories a little bit in a way, because if you guys remember, I first started this channel out with actually flipping quite a few of these, except they were ProDesk 600 G1s, I believe, and it was like 4 of them. So yeah, this kind of brings back memories in a way. But yeah, this is what we're going to be featuring in this PC flip today, an HP ProDesk 600 G4 small form factor. And I think you guys are not going to want to miss out on this, because this is going to be a really interesting build, a really unique one, and I've never actually featured a small form factor PC build on this channel yet. So yeah, this is going to be a first, and this is going to be really exciting, guys. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss what we have planned for this PC. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and open this PC up, slide this off like so. It's a little dusty in here. We're going to go ahead and clean this up before we put it up for sale. But yeah guys, so here's the PC in all of its glory. This PC features an Intel i5-8500 processor, 6-core 6 threads, as well as a 1TB NVMe drive and 16 gigs of RAM. And I'm going to go ahead and pop off this front plate here, and I'll show you guys that it does indeed have these specifications. Take that guy out. Don't mind this LED strip. This is something I'm going to be adding in here for some extra gaming aesthetic, if you will. But we'll move this out of the way. But hopefully you guys can see this on the camera in the video. Here's our 1TB NVMe SSD. It's a Seagate Barracuda drive. Again, 1TB. We have two 8GB sticks of RAM. And I want to say these are clocked at 2133 megahertz. Nope, 2666 actually. So that's even faster than I was anticipating. So that's always a plus though. So yeah, 16 gigs of RAM, 1TB NVMe. We have our small form factor power supply here, which this puts out 180 watts, it looks like, according to this label. And then yeah, we got our cooler here, which is kind of a beefy cooler, so to speak, in the sense that it's moving all the air in and then out the back here. It's exhausting it out the back. So that should hopefully be pretty stout enough to cool our CPU. And yeah guys, like I said, here's a little RGB controller that I added to this PC. And you'll see later on in the video, once this is all put together, it's just going to look really sleek with this LED strip here, and it's going to come out really awesome. But yeah guys, that's the specs that we got inside of this PC. Alright guys, I'm going to show some footage here of a graphics card that was going to be used in this PC. However, I did run into some problems with trying to use this graphics card that I'll go into very quickly here and just kind of cover real fast. So this is an Intel Arc A310 by a company called Sparkle. This is their Eco variant, as you can see here, with the branding on the fan there, as well as the box in the background. This graphics card is very capable. It's a 75-watt TDP card, although this Eco variant brings it down to just 50 TDP. This is a single lane, single slot graphics card, which is great for really small form factor builds and or office PCs that don't have a whole lot of room to work with. This would have been an amazing graphics card to use with 4GB of GDDR6 VRAM. I believe it's 768 shaders. I could be wrong on that number, but anyways, this is a very good graphics card. It would have been awesome to use, but unfortunately our PC does not have resizable bar. You do need resizable bar to take advantage of a lot of these Intel Arc graphics cards. So unfortunately we couldn't use this guy here, but I just want to kind of to go over what this graphics card was and what it could have been, and just kind of cover what this graphics card is good for, which is good for small form factor PCs and small builds, like mini ITX builds and what have you. But in our case, we're just going to use it. So I ended up having to resell this graphics card for around the same price that I bought it for. So at least I got my money back. That was a plus. But yeah, guys, just know in the future, if you ever get an Intel Arc graphics card, you are going to need resizable bar to take full advantage and full utilization of its power and capabilities. Now in comparison, we will be using a graphics card that looks very similar and performs very similar to this one, but just without the hiccups of not having a resizable bar. We will be using a low profile card, and it's going to be an AMD one, the AMD Radeon RX6400 low profile 4GB model. I don't have too much footage of the card itself, but I just wanted to let you know It will look very similar to this, both just overall looks, and for the most part, the performance will be very similar. And as you can see in a future clip right here, I'm showing off this XFX model of the AMD Radeon RX 6400 low profile. I was able to snag this for just under $100 on eBay, which is not too shabby. It does have a DisplayPort and HDMI port, as you can see here. This is a single slot, single lane card. This is going to work excellent for our PC that we have today with this small form factor office PC, as it does only offer a single slot of room to work with, because the 16 or the PCIe X16 slot, excuse me, is located literally right next to the power supply. So yeah, this will have to do, and I think it's going to make an overall little great gaming PC. As you will see later on in the benchmarks, this is still pretty capable for what we have. So now that we've talked about the graphics card and what we're going to be using, we're going to go ahead and take the cover off of the PC here. As you can see, it's a little finicky, but once you get that lock to unlock for you and budge free, just kind of pull back and lift up on the cover here and move that to the side. And then we're going to go ahead and take our low profile graphics card and we're going to slot it into the PCIe 16X slot, as you can see as we're doing right here. Now, this PC, there is a little latch that you have to lift, as you just saw there. You got to lift that latch, that way you can go ahead and slot it in and against the case, as we're going to show here in a second. Now, once you have it in and slot it into place, as you can see there, it clicked into place. Just pushing down to make sure it's nice and secure. You're going to go ahead and put down the latch that you see there, that little green arrow on it. And once you've done that, everything is good to go. Now you can take that cover, go ahead and place it back over. As you can see here, you gotta put it back just a little offset from the case, and then you just slide it on in, and it should lock into place as you see here. Now that we got all that done, let's go ahead and test some games out and see how it does. So the first game we're going to be benchmarking is Halo Infinite. As you can see here, we're going to be running all low settings, just because this graphics card, you got to kind of keep your expectations in check. This is not a super powerful graphics card, especially being in a small form factor PC, but yeah, low presets should be plenty for this graphics card, as you're going to see here in this gameplay. Throughout most of the games on Halo Infinite, that is, I was getting around 50 FPS on average. As you can see here in the top right hand corner, we have the FPS counter. We couldn't quite hit 60 FPS, which really I kind of expected, because Halo Infinite's a really hard game to run. It's very, very demanding. So it's a very good test though for this GPU and a CPU combo here. And speaking of GPU and CPUs, you can see in the top very center of the screen there, kind of GPU temps were spiking up all the way to 92, in some cases even 93 degrees Celsius, excuse me. And I did do a Google search to see if this was normal, because I don't know, anytime I see a GPU go above 88, I start to freak out. So when I saw it go above 90, I thought, man, that's awful high for a graphics card. But after doing a quick Google search and even some more research beyond that, I guess it's just normal for these cards to run hot. So I guess it is what it is. And, you know, being that it's literally sitting right up against the power supply in a very cramped case, it's kind of expected for it to get warm. So I guess that's another reason why I wasn't like too worried when I saw that. I mean, it's definitely hot, but like I said, from the research, I guess he's just run hot. Alright guys, now we're moving on to Apex Legends, and as you can see here, in Apex Legends, it was running at a full load on the CPU, but I believe we were still loading in shaders, as I know that's a common thing with Apex, kind of like how Fortnite is too. It's super demanding on the CPU in the very beginning. But as you'll see later on in the gameplay, this graphics card does pretty fair given the circumstances that the graphics card is in, and the hardware that we have. I think it's definitely respectable, as you're going to see in these clips here. And just as a heads up, we are running this on the very lowest preset that we can for just about every setting. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up there. Now, throughout most of the gameplay throughout this game, you will see the FPS kind of dip between, I don't know, like 100 to 144, kind of fluctuates. I would say this definitely would be good for like a 120 hertz or even 144 hertz, excuse me, display. And you definitely, I would say, get a pretty steady 120 FPS with a couple of dips here and there. But again, guys, a small form factor office PC, All we did was add a graphics card for $100. Definitely some really good performance, I think, in my humble opinion. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Is this something that you would pick up maybe for a friend, or even like your son or daughter, you know, what have you? I think this is still really respectable for the price, given that we did pay a very small amount for the Office PC, which I will get into later, the grand total and the whole scheme of things here. But again, guys, $100 graphics card, we bought an Office PC. I think this is really good performance for what we've got. Alright guys, I want some benchmarks without some good old CS2 gameplay. So we're going to go ahead and see how it performs on this game here on an all-low preset for the most part. And as you can see in some of these clips here, we're getting anywhere from 120 on upwards of 140 FPS, which again, CS2 is not super demanding. It's definitely a little bit more demanding than the original CS, but it's definitely an esports title. It's easier to run on kind of more lightweight PCs, if you will. Again, though, really respectable performance for what we have here. I think 120 plus FPS is definitely not bad considering the price that we paid for this little PC. Alright guys, now moving on to Fortnite, we're going to be running this in performance mode, as you can see here with a 144 FPS frame cap that I do remove later on in the video, as you will see the FPS will be a little bit higher than that. 80% res scale, everything though except for view distance set to far. So let's go ahead and see how this performs. Now again, just like Apex Legends, as you're going to see here in some of these clips, Fortnite in the very beginning will run a full CPU 100% load because it's loading in shaders as well as some other things in the background. So there may be some drops and some stutters here and there, but that'll iron itself out after about 3 to 4 games. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Now, again, this is the first game that I hopped on to with performance mode, but as you can see here, the FPS is kind of jumping anywhere between 150, sometimes even up into the 200s even. Now, of course, this is going to change when you get into gun battles, especially if you're playing actual building mode in Fortnite. I couldn't think of what to call it, but I typically play zero builds, so there's not as much action. But you can expect FPS to drop probably to 150, 140, maybe even 120 if it's getting really dense. But yeah, definitely some pretty good performance again, guys, for basically right under $200 for a gaming PC. This is really, really respectable, I think, in my most humble opinion. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Is this something that you would run on Fortnite for that kind of money and this kind of performance? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We're getting close to wrapping this video up, but I did want to show you guys that I did actually tear apart the RX6400 low profile, as you can see here in this clip. I did tear it apart, clean it up, and actually put some new thermal paste on just because I thought it was running, I still thought it was running too hot, the temps it was running at. When I did do this, and I did go play some of those games again, it did run a little bit cooler, but we're talking like just a couple degrees, so not a huge difference, but at least I feel safe, I guess you could say, and I feel confident knowing this graphics card's going to last a good while before it needs another thermal paste, but just wanted to show you guys that. Alright guys, now let's talk about the grand reveal of this PC. As you can see here with that LED light strip, this looks absolutely stunning in my opinion, especially with given the small form factor of this PC. Kind of gives it some new life, if you will. I think it looks really, really sweet. It's really awesome. And honestly, I had a lot of fun with this project, minus the little setback with the graphics card. This was really fun to do, and kind of a first for the channel as far as the small form factor goes. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of this PC. Is this something that you would replicate? And we picked this PC up, I just wanted to let you know, for $80, and picked up the LED light strip and the RGB controller for around $20, and the graphics card set us back by about $100. So altogether, guys, right under $200, we achieved a little small form factor gaming PC with some nice RGB aesthetic, as you can see here. I think this turned out awesome, but let me know in the comments down below if this is something you guys would replicate, or if this is something you guys want to do in the future. Yeah, if you like this video, drop me a like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to your boy for more content coming your way. And I hope you enjoyed this, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.